Yes, hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. And in this one, we're going to be getting into something a lot more in depth. Now, with a lot of things that you've seen in my channel so far, a lot of them have been, a different types of videos. For example, just focusing on one topic at one time and just focusing on that in a bit more detail. Now, with this one, we're going to be putting everything together. Now, when it comes to a full strategy, what do you need? Of course, you need to know the knowledge first. Hence why a lot of the videos probably have prepared you up until this stage. But now we're actually going to be implementing it and showing it in the live markets as well, especially with stuff that's happened this week. So yeah, definitely, this is one that you're going to have to be taking notes with. So be prepared for all of it. Now, when we get into this, all of this, please note it's not financial advice, only for educational purposes. And the only thing I ask from you guys is, look, all these YouTube videos I'm doing for free. I don't really even need to be doing these YouTube videos, but all I ask is you hit the subscribe button. And apart from that, let's get straight into everything. Now, in my opinion, I think this is going to be the most straightforward and simple approach you can take in the market. Of course, there are a few things where you do need to get used to it and analyze it in the markets. And to be honest, having time in the markets will help you with that. Of course, you can know this knowledge, but until you apply it and test it, that's where you're really going to see the results. Now, for the strategy, you need to understand a few simple things. And this is stuff that I've taught throughout the series of videos on my YouTube channel so far. But of course, as well, when it comes to smart money concepts, these are really the basic ideas that you need to learn at first. So the first one we're going to talk about, market structure and trends. It's a very, very simple one. All I say about this point is we need to be pro-trend, or we need to have a very, very good understanding of market structure and understanding, is it valid for us to enter at that point? Secondly, order blocks and imbalances. I've made many, many videos on this. Even the last one was a recreation of that, one of the first ever videos I've done. We talked about order blocks in a lot more detail. Imbalances, I do have a few of them in the on my YouTube channel as well. But pretty much we're going to be using both of these points for both our entries and our take profits. So it's a very, very key idea that we need to learn. And then lastly, time of day. Now, with this one, it's going to help a lot when it comes to the actual movement of the trade. As you guys understand, there are certain characteristics of each trading session, and we're going to be using that to our advantage. Now, here's the time to put your pen and paper out. You can pause this video, but I'm going to be explaining it slowly as we go through. So the strategy in, 5 simple steps, pretty much. Now, when it comes to the first step, make sure that you're looking for trades following the trend. I cannot emphasize this any further, especially for beginners, that if you're going for trades that are counter trend, you really, really do need to be a lot more specialized in it. This is why I say if we're going for the simplest approach and the one that will give us sort of consistent returns, we need to look at the phase in the market that makes it easiest for us to enter. And in my opinion, that is when we're following the trend. Some concepts that really do pop up with this is order flow. If we are following the trend, we're going to be getting retracements and then entries more to the upside if we're in an uptrend. Again, retracements, sells that will bring us more to the downside. I'm going to talk about in a lot more detail. Secondly, ensure that your trade comes within a good point of interest. And do not, so what I mean by this is we can't be trading at random areas in the market. So this is where the whole idea of preparation in the market comes into play, picking out your points of interests. And then from that, we can actually start to enter the market once we get, for example, all of our confirmations. As we talk about this, this is something that I do on a weekly basis. I always prepare myself for the week ahead. And then from that, I'll be able to, be prepared for the areas that we're going to be waiting for. Now, the third rule of, or the third step of the strategy, marking out areas of imbalances that the market can easily move towards. Now, what do I mean by this? When we're entering the market, of course, we've got our entry. Let's just say we've entered it and we put it at break even. We need areas that we could potentially take profits towards. Now, one of the easiest areas that this can happen is marking out them areas of imbalances and taking profits at them areas right there. So when we think about all of that, the reason I say that is because once an imbalance is filled, what we tend to see happen is we've got some kind of order block or something else that comes after it. Now, that could actually reverse our trade in the opposite direction. As I talk about all of this, if you are new to everything, you know, this whole idea of imbalances, order blocks and everything, it might not make too much sense now, but once we get into the examples, you're pretty much gonna see it, you know, live in play. Now, the fourth step, make sure you are entering during times of the day where there is expected to be more expansions. Like I said, we want to be entering, you know, at times where the market is moving quite smoothly. We don't want areas where, or times in the day where it's expected to consolidate. The easiest two parts of the day that I, you know, usually stick to, London session and New York session. One session that I generally avoid, also because it's against my kind of working hours as well, I'd say is Asia session. That's where we tend to see a lot more consolidation than usual. London session picks up a bit of a, you know, movement in the market, and then New York tends to expand around that time or potentially reverse on us. You know, that's not exactly what we're talking about today, but we're talking about putting everything together. Now, the last point, take profits once these imbalances have been hit, as now price may reverse on us. So, you know, very simple and easy to understand. The 2 points that I really want to emphasize to you guys here, when we get into our entries, we want to make sure that, you know, we've entered at some kind of point of interest on the higher time frame. We've got our confirmation. And then when we're taking profits, we take profits at the imbalances. Very, very simple. Using this, of course, you're not going to be holding trades forever. But the main point is you want to look for that consistency. Now, before we get into live examples, you guys know how much content we've been giving out here, you know, on all the free YouTube channels, and I've received so many messages, you know, with all the love and everything and support. Now, when it comes to those who want to take the next step and really understand both smart money concepts and fundamentals, you know, that's what we really specialize here. You know, you get a lot of content creators, they just look at smart money concepts, but really and truly understanding the movers of the market, the main drivers of the market, fundamentals, and putting them together, that's where the key point is here. Now, I'm going to keep it real. There's hundreds of mentorships, courses, and discords out there. So why even join this one? Now, the number one point I would say is consistency. I really don't care about making traders who can hit the 1 to 100 risk to reward trades that you might see on Instagram, you might see it, you know, wherever you do see on YouTube or whatever. I'm not looking for that. All I want to create is consistently profitable traders who can stick to a set plan and grow as part of the community. Now, for you guys that are interested in the full mentorship and Discord, just a few words here. This is pretty much all that's covered inside it. We've got the full technical course, full fundamental course, and the main part we do look for is that elite strategy course that I've added this year. And then, of course, when it comes to the lifetime Discord group, you know, over 1,000 members, you've got all the community chats, everything. Every single week we get on calls that I host myself, getting into everything that's coming up next week, both fundamentally and technically as well. And then, of course, my personal trade analysis as well. Now, completely updated and refined this part of the course, the elite strategy. I'll genuinely say this is where all the quality really lies. And, you know, I've seen it from many, you know, I don't even know how many testimonials I can say up until now, but don't take it from me, take it from them guys yourself. You know, this is where all the quality lies. So if you are interested in joining, over 1,000 members, link is in the description. But yeah, guys, on this journey to keep on teaching. So now back to the video. In terms of this whole strategy, I'm going to be explaining it through two main examples. The first one is we're going to be talking about GBP USD. Now, with this, let's first of all talk about taking entries and take profits. You know, as we get into the live examples, I'm going to be talking about this from 0 to 100, you know, explaining it from the beginning all the way up until where we take profits. But here's pretty much just a visual view of what it can look like, really. You know, just quickly pointing out, got this massive imbalance that we were looking for. It was pro trend as well, pro fundamentals. You know, what else can I say? Now, with the entry, like I said, you take it at the order blocks or any point of interest that you consider within your plan. For me personally, one of the types of entries that I do take is at order blocks. Got a few other types as well, but this is the main one that I do look at. Then in terms of take profits, you take it at key market structural points and at imbalances. And what I mean by key market structural points is areas where there's potentially, for example, highs or lows. So if we're in this downtrend, you know, there's still a chance that price can still continue upwards, right? So we need to take it out appropriate areas, and that's what we're going to talk about. Now, of course, when we are talking about these examples, yes, the entries that I did enter this week, send them out to the team as well. This started all the way from the weekly analysis, and this is where I'm always going to say, start this from. This does not happen. You know, these entries, now I personally got into that one of the last ones, but these entries do not happen, you know, just without any preparation, right? You really need to understand it. So looking at that weekly analysis, as you can see, GBP USD, based on fundamentals, we were convinced that yes, GBP were expecting to see a bit of weakness with the US dollar still continued strength. Now, what does that mean? GBP USD sells. Okay, so if we are looking for sells, which areas can we look for? Personally, I saw that we were at sort of this high on a Sunday, so I expected it to get taken out, and of course, this imbalance above. And then the first point of interest up top, this is the main sell area that I was looking for. As you can see, once we did get that hit, we saw our confirmation for sells. So we started to sell off and boom, once we got that retracement, as you can see, equal lows at the bottom, that's where we started to look towards. And then in terms of the entry, as I was entering, sent it out to the team. As you can see, early in the morning, this was during London session, expanded throughout the day. And then we got pretty much a take profit two of a 1 to 5. So as simple as this, you know, I always send out my entries into the personal analysis part of the group chat or the Discord group. And then, you know, all the students can, you know, do whatever they want with it. But another example, Euro NZD. This was another trade that I got into this week. With this, I'm going to explain in a few ways. Pretty much as simple as the other one as well. You know, we're going to talk about it a bit more in detail. But the two main points here that I want to point out, or the key points here. The first one, enter at logical areas. Now, by logical areas, of course, you know, you need some kind of experience in the market to understand what this is. You know, now it's come to a point where once you understand your strategy in and out, and you know, you stick to it all the time, you're really consistent with it, the way you enter, the way you get out of the market as well. This is possibly, you know, one of the things that saves you from even entering in bad areas as well. So biological areas, we're going to get into that in a bit more. But secondly, take profits before potential reversal zones. Now, this is one of the reasons why I say a good take profit area is at an imbalance, because after the imbalance, you're always going to get some kind of order block or something like that. So I hope everything is making sense up until now. Let me just quickly go back to remind you of this strategy right here. So take the notes. This is pretty much the 5 steps that you can easily take. And then from that, you know, getting into trades like GU this week or even Euro NZD. So let's now get into the live market. So with this, pretty much like I said, 2 pairs we're going to be looking at, EN and GU. First one I'd say is GU, just because you know, we talked about it from a weekly basis first. So let's zoom out on that. Start right from the beginning. So let's put the replay button. Where were we on the weekly analysis, right? So we were just here. Okay, so these were the 2 areas that I had marked out. The first area was up here. As you can see, we were trading it, you know, during the Sunday open, even Monday as well, we got a bit of consolidation. So personally, I wasn't really looking for trades then. Also, we had the bank holiday on Monday. So when it comes to bank holidays, especially the US dollar bank holiday, I'm not really looking to enter many trades. But with this GU, we're expecting either sells from here or here. Most likely that I saw was this point right here. And as you can see, when we do play price a bit more, let me just speed it up for you guys. As price was continuing, now what happened here? Now, as soon as we get this little touch over here, a lot of traders would actually enter this as a limit, which is perfectly fine, to be honest. I mean, I used to be one of them traders myself where I'd have, for example, multiple points of interest, and then I just enter at them certain areas. The problem I find with that is this. Let me just quickly get rid of that. The problem I find with that is during our analysis, you know, we're going to get multiple points of interest at times. For example, the first one right here is just as valid as the second one. Now, why would I only enter this one and not enter that? It comes to a point where you really have to evaluate, you know, which one is more worthy. And in this case, they're kind of both valid. So personally, I stick away from that. You know, in the more recent months, I've just been doing confirmation trades, and to be honest, it's been working, you know, very, very well for both me and my team. When I'm looking for confirmation trades, it's not the simple change of character and then your retracement, you enter, none of that really. Of course, that's a part of it, but it's a lot more in depth than that. But anyways, let's just continue. We'll drop down to the 30-minute time frame. So as we do continue over here, Boom. What did we start to get? Okay, so this is the point that we were starting to look for. Now, this is where I did send in some of that analysis. Let me just quickly get it up on the Discord. So if we do look at GU, and GU was actually one of the pairs that I did look at quite a lot throughout the week. As you can see right here, as soon as we got them equal lows, I was expecting for price to react quite nicely off it. Personally, I didn't get into this entry right here, but as you can see, very, very simple, guys. You know, if I explain this in smart money concept terms, what do we have? Let's look back at that 5-step process. The strategy. Make sure you're looking for trades following the trend. Now, we know that fundamentally we're looking for GU sells. Long-term, market structures moving sort of bearish in that scenario as well. Okay, so we're good. Now, ensure your trade comes within a good point of interest. Yes, we've got that on the high time frame. We've reacted off this point of interest very, very nicely. Part 3, mark out areas of imbalances where price could easily move towards. As you can see, once we hit that area, where was our next imbalance that we were looking for? It is right here. Let me just quickly get rid of this. That's the imbalance that we were pretty much expecting price to move towards. So for me personally, as soon as we got a reaction off here, I'm expecting for price to at least take this low and then move towards this imbalance to be filled completely. So with that, can now move on to the next bit. Make sure you're entering during times of the day where there is expected to be more expansion, such as London or New York. Again, similar type of thing here as well. You know, let's just see what time it actually did hit. So yeah, New York session, New York and London overlap. In fact, 12, 12:30, 1 o'clock, around that time is when you could have got that entry right there. So for me, if I was entering here, for example, I'd even go down to the 15-minute time frame. Very, very clean order block. You know, everything else is very nicely respected. So price can move there. To take the equal lows first, just get rid of these annotations for a bit. To take them equal lows first. So if I was getting into this trade, boom, entry right there. And to be honest, when I was speaking to my group about this, this is one of the entries that I, would have taken before, if just entering limits, but my style has slightly changed a bit. I do talk about it in the elite strategy part of the course, the way I do actually enter now. And to be honest, I could have entered, but with that confirmation, it got in a bit later. Hence why I didn't enter that day. But if you did enter a normal style with smart money concepts, first take profit would have been at these equal lows. So like I say, you need to take profits at logical areas. The first one right here would be that key market structural point, these equal lows. Then in terms of second take profit, I'd personally do it when it fills the imbalance. So what would that take you to? A 1 to 6. So let's just say you've held on to that trade now and you're still holding on to it. As we move on into the next day. And also, guys, just a little tip when it comes to your Asian range. Personally, I don't really use indicators at all. But when it does come to an indicator, all I want it to do is just to show me, something clear in the markets. For example, this Asian range, I believe it's by Nico 23 something. I can't remember too well, but that's pretty much the Asian range indicator that I do use. It looks very, very clean. I don't want anything too complicated. But in terms of the next day, as we can see, let's just continue price a bit more forwards. Asian range happened. This is exactly what we do want to see. And as we know, we were in a downtrend, right? So what we were looking for, and let's refer back to that Discord analysis that I did send out for GU, watching GU sells potentially this London session. As you can see, sent out at this point right here. As we hit our point of interest, boom. For me personally, again, this was one of the trades where I used that different type of confirmation that I've been using these days. But in terms of if you were just using a normal smart money concept strategy, your entry could have been as simple as this. Asian range manipulation. As you know, London session tends to do that. I haven't created a full video on that just yet, but it's something that's very, very well known in the smart money concept field. Your entry could have been right here. So yesterday or the day before, we would have got this entry up top. Same type of thing. This is New York session. This is London session. We're expecting an expansion. Boom. It expands throughout the day. Again here, London session is after Asian session creates that manipulation, and then we're expecting an expansion again. So if you were entering the trade, key market structural point, that's a 1 to 4. Then when you're looking at your final take profit, again, another 1 to 6. So if you're holding on to that, let's just reduce it. Personally, this was my type of entry right here. As sent out, as I did enter, as you can see right here. But the main thing I want you guys to take away from this video is this. When you do enter at order blocks or any points of interest, enter at your point of interest or order blocks. The main thing is take profit where you see appropriate. You need to take it at market structural points. You need to take your trade during key moments of the day, everything like that. Key market structural points and imbalances. Sorry for the spelling, but number 3, like I said, take trades during times of expansion, or I wouldn't say during times of expansion. I would generally say before times of expansion. Before times of expansion. Let's just quickly fix that right there. So just 3 really, really key points. We've already talked about that in this part right here, but just looking into everything. And then of course, in terms of the actual trade, how did it expand? For me personally, I was looking for a small take profit zone at this market structural point right here. Obviously, look, when we look at that internal structure, the 15-minute structure is looking bearish. Up until this point, we can assume that, yes, we can still look for sells. And as price continued, boom. Why did I take profit here? Because we have an order block that could potentially reverse price. Now, in all honesty with this, I believe I closed up to about 80% of the trade up until this point. So I had about 20% running. Whatever happens, if price continues further down, then that's all well and good. But yeah, you always do need to take profits at these key zones. Let's just continue. Again, another key lesson right here. Take your profits, guys. 80% for me taken here. And when it came to all of that, look at what price did eventually. Price came back to not only just our entry to tap out at break even if we had it, or for the 20% we actually did. But if your whole entry would have been open, you would have been stopped out, and then again price continued downwards. This is the type of thing you need to do. The whole point of this full strategy that I'm trying to teach you, it's not for you guys to be taking 1 to 100s from the market. It's to be able to really, take that consistent profit. I don't care if I'm making 1 to 20, 1 to 30 every single time. I want to take that consistent 1 to 5 out of the market day in, day out. Obviously, with me, the way I'm usually trading, it's a thing where it might be 2, 3, maybe even 4 trades a week. I'm generally not really looking for trades every day. Monday, for example, is not really a day that I do trades. It's generally Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, sometimes on a Friday, depending on what news. But yeah, just as simple as this, guys. Don't overcomplicate trading. There's so many, there's so much good education out there. But the problem is when you start to implement it, you think it doesn't work for you. Just looking at some of the trades from the guys, for example, you never need to overcomplicate things when it comes to all of that. Oh, one of the guys even passed his challenge today as well. So honestly, I couldn't be proud of everyone. Even looking at trades like this, you see, what's this, like a 1 to 2, 1 to 3, 1 to 4. You don't need to be going crazy and looking for the massive profits. As simple as this. Even some of the guys similar to this week as well, GBP JPY was one of them trades that we could have easily got into sales as well. Personally, my sort of focus was on GU. But yeah, it's as simple as that. So I think we're pretty much done with this GU bit of analysis. Let's just see where price is moving towards. If I was obviously I took my profits at that day, but if I was earlier on into the trade, for example, even from up top or even up here, I probably would have had at least some running, just a tiny bit, maybe 20% of it running up until this imbalance. Again, I would describe it as like the magnets of the market in a way. As you can see, price is now pushing straight into the zone. Main reason for it fundamentally as well right now, we got some news about PCE data that's pushed a lot of US dollar pairs to the ups, US dollar sort of to the upside, therefore US dollar pairs such as GU, they've sold off. So yeah, that's a little breakdown on this GU trade. Obviously, like I said, guys, this video is going to have a lot of detail in it. So we're going to be getting into Euro NZD as well. This is the type of thing that we've been seeing. So, we've been moving quite bullish recently. We've consolidated for some time now on the high time frames, but when you look at the internal structure, we've been moving bullish, highs, higher low, higher high, higher low, and then now we're just pushing upwards. So using this whole thing, starting from step number one, what do we look for? We look for trades following the trend. Very, very simple. Euro NZD. We're gonna have to replay the feature. Let's just go from around here. So we were only looking for buys, right? Now, for me personally, my main area that I was looking at, and this is the area I sent out into my weekly analysis to the group, was just over here. So from that, that's the main area that I was looking at. Now, I don't rule out examples where, for example, the internal structure might look really good. So that's why I do trade. So as an example, GU, this was respecting a lot of the high time frame structure. With Euro NZD, again, I know that I'm looking for buys, considering the trend in mind. So let's go down to the lower time frame of what we were looking at that day. So 30 minutes. Okay, so let's go down to just before Asia session. So with all of this, now what did we see? Let's mark out two things that I generally do teach, or not many of you might know about. So the key tip that I want to teach to you guys right here, the high and the low of the previous day. Now, why do I talk about this? This is because at times these areas can act as a great source of liquidity. So just marking it out very, very simply on the chart, what we tend to see is we want some kind of manipulation of both of these sides of the market. When that happens, price could potentially manipulate it and then start to reverse the other direction and expand that way. That's exactly what we started to see this day. Just looking at Euro NZD, let's play it now. As you can see, during Asia session, what did we get? We got, Asian consolidation, but with that, we got a manipulation of the previous day lows. Now, from that, very, very simply, we got an expansion to the upside. As you can see, we even took the liquidity at the top. So here was a great day for, liquidity traders, to be honest. As soon as you get a little fake out on liquidity, that's when you can start to see some kind of reversal to the other side. Now, with this, what would I have seen in this market? So London session, we got all of this, but now we're starting to enter into New York session. Now, for me personally, this area right here I sent out to the team and was looking at it very, very closely. The reason is this order block right here, this little move to the downside, and then it wicked and then continue upside. This is where, this is the order block, as we call in smart money concept terms, an FU candle. It takes out that liquidity, all of the stops that are just below it. If you understand the whole idea of liquidity in the market, there are, for example, stop losses just below this point, and that's why it's kind of induced into that area, and then price turns the other way. This order block right here, very, very valid. So for me personally, this is another type of entry that I could have had, but I was waiting for more confirmations. But when we're talking about the very, very simple strategy that we're talking about here, again, entry right here, very, very clean. And where are we aiming for? We are going to be aiming for the imbalance to be filled. So if you want to get a very, very simple return, believe it, guys, this is the 30-minute chart. So can you imagine if you even refine this even further? But we're just talking about even on 30-minute, you would have bagged yourself a very nice 1 to 3.2. So let's just say a 1 to 3. Very, very simple. If you wanted to, you could have taken it a bit further up to the actual order block and then that imbalance just in between. So an almost a 1 to 4 right there. And as we can see, let's just go down on the high time frame, lower time frame, 15-minute chart. Let's see how that played out. I'm going to slow it down a bit because I know we're getting closer to price action now. Boom, entry. And as we can see, price literally tags, I'll take profit. And then, you would have had a solid 1-4 that trade. With me personally, and the actual entry I sent out to the team, let's go to that personal analysis section right here. Where is it? Euro NZD was a bit earlier on in the week. And of course, guys, I'm always quite active in all my entries. So this was the entry right here that I did enter. Had a few confirmations with that I discussed with the group afterwards. But yeah, EN started to buy upwards. And then personally, I took my take profits around this zone right here. So just underneath that order block, and then pretty much closed out for a 1-4. So as you can see, and then one tip that I'm going to give to you in terms of timing as well, towards the end of the day, that's where price starts to slow down. And this literally epitomizes this. Look, what happens? Nothing. It just consolidates. So what I'd personally say is stay away from entering outside of London and New York session. It's very, very self-explanatory. If you don't know that already, I can tell, you're still sort of learning and everything. So it's a very, very good beginner's tip at least. Not many people actually still stick to it. I mean, it's not a problem really. I mean, I know a lot of traders that, for example, still trade, they leave their limits open and then whenever it hits, they don't really mind and they find success with that. Me personally, I try to keep myself a lot more, my risk management is a lot more intact. I try to not really enter anything outside of my perfect sort of strategy plan or anything like that. And that's the one thing that I really do teach my students, really. Stick to something that works for you. There's people that out there that really want to get their 1-100s every week or whatever. I'm not really into that. I'm into that consistency. I want to get that 1-5. I want to get that 1-4, 1-6, whatever it is. That's the type of thing that I'm always looking for. So, guys, we've gone into a lot of detail here. I really do hope a lot of this has actually helped you. I've really, really broken it down for you. I don't even know how long we've been recording for this, but um, it's something that I really do hope has helped. Again, you've seen a lot of the value in this call, in this YouTube video. The strategy, the very, very simple 5-step process that you want to take. Again, this is not something that you need to overcomplicate. This is pretty much bringing, I didn't even need to do this video. I've given you so much value in just a YouTube video so far. You could have easily just, looked at them videos and come up with this yourself, but I really want to break it down for you. Now, again, this is all the free content, but when it comes to my private group and everything like that, the strategy is a lot more intact, a lot more detailed, especially in that part where we're talking about the elite strategy part of the course. This is really where that refinement is at the end, where I really take my confirmations, even just this week that I sent out, getting a 1-9 risk to reward and not really having to worry about anything really. It's something where, now I stick to my strategy. Maybe look at the charts, hour, 2, 3 a day, something like that, during the trading sessions. And then obviously I get on with my other stuff. So yeah, guys, apart from that, I think it's coming to the end of the video. If you do have any questions, feel free to message me on Instagram, leave them down in the YouTube comments below. The problem with the YouTube comments, it gets a bit saturated over time, so it's a bit hard to sort of go just through them. But yeah, one last thing, please, 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 if you did like this video, please like, subscribe. It really does help with the growth. Now we're hitting about 60,000 subscribers, so hopefully, it's only February right now, but hopefully towards the end of the year, we can just keep growing this channel and, bringing as much content out to you guys. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. Links are all in the description for anything else that you need further. But yeah, guys, that's going to be it from me. Take care, and I'll see you all in the next one.